What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Acting Chops Network, home of the industry insiders. Yes, sir, we're in the house today. I'm your host, China McCoy, and guess what? Clap time. You know what? We're gonna get right into it. Hey, I love the clappers. You know why? Because it gives us a sense, or it gives me a sense of like being on the silver screen, old school. You know what I mean? Like when they hit that clapper and action, boom. And then you just get into that Othello performance. You're just like, yeah, I'm great. Deliver this Oscar Award nominated performance. And it just reminds me of that like old school silver screen mentality. Which brings up another fact. There's one thing that's very important to the industry in auditions, on set, at events, is the food. Food is very crucial on movie sets, commercials, infomercials, music videos. I don't give a damn what you're doing. You gotta have some good food. For example, I've been on some sets where they just had cookies and crackers, and some had apples and peanut butter and cheese. And I'm like, I know you got to feed us, but this is ridiculous. Listen, food is very crucial. So you got people that are working 12, 14-hour days. You cannot feed them peanut butter and crackers and cookies. And I feel like I'm into action. So I know if I'm on action movies and I'm doing some sort of action, I need consistent snacks. I'm not even a sugar person, but you need these things to survive on a movie set. So don't be cheap with the craft service. Listen, there are people out here who will work 20 hours for you if you're feeding them right. You treat the cast and crew good, and they talk about how good your food is. Trust me, you'll have friends for life. Right? We always know the best way to tap into somebody is through the tummy. And I was on a film set, and I remember actually it was a film set that I directed. And it was interesting because the producer had an opinion about what to feed the crew, and I had a different opinion. And I remember one day, the crew was just kind of they were moseying along. They wanted to work, but they wasn't really happy. They were still getting paid, but they weren't really happy about the food. And the food is very important. So I decided to go. This was some years ago too. So I decided to go to McDonald's and surprise, the cast and crew. So check it out. We got to the set. It was in North Hollywood. It was the police station, North Hollywood. So back then you could just go to the police station and be like, hey, I want to shoot a movie here. And they would just let you, because it's public. So they weren't really trying to stop you. They just be like, just don't block anything, but just do your thing. And we did. So when the crew got there, they were just kind of moseying along. They showed up. Everybody showed up. And then I remember I called everybody to the back of the truck and I said, I got an announcement to make. I appreciate you guys working hard and diligent and always showing up. And, I gave a little teeny speech not too long. And then I just remember going, all right, so let's grab some breakfast and then, let's get to work. And I went inside the truck and I lowered the gate, and as the gate came down, it was just packed full of egg McMuffins, the pancake breakfast, sausage McMuffins. I had the whole works, and they were astounded. Their eyes were so big. And that was the first day they actually got to enjoy a breakfast. And I paid for all that, like out of my pocket, because that's what I felt like, they work hard. They deserve that. And I think that's something that's lacking in a lot of production. So sometimes, man, craft service sucks. And other times, craft service is fantastic. But more times than not, it sucks. Some people even forget to even get craft service. You just be working. You got to remind the producers, hey, we need to eat. We've been here like 7 hours already and we haven't even taken lunch. Like, what is the deal? So, you try to give people grace in these situations, but all it takes is go to Rouse, go to Albertsons, go to Vaughn's, go to Aldi, go, to Smart and Final, go to Costco's, go somewhere, and you get those, you get them real cheap. You get the big fruit platters, and you get the meat platters, and you just, where they can dip, or you know what I mean. You can even get the even crackers with the cheese and a little turkey meat in it, and they can grab a few packs and eat while they're working. Like, you have to keep the crew and cast fed. It's very important to the success of a film. Like, Clint Eastwood is a perfect example of that. He always, a lot of people love working for Clint Eastwood because of how good he feeds his crew. Imagine that. So all you production companies out there, movie studios, independent producers, feed your people and be conscientious. So here's an example. Yes, they're working hard, but you can't also go, okay, I'm gonna feed them really good. If we gotta feed them, and then you give them like an 8-ounce steak with some pasta. No, you don't want to put your crew to sleep. We don't want to go there. We do not want to put the crew to sleep. So try to find a happy medium and just tap in. And some production companies are good at that. They'll go around and they say, what do you guys like to eat? What do you want to eat? And people kind of have their opinion. Some people eat pretty light during lunch, but then when it comes to dinner, they're like, I want a bigger meal, because they know it's time to get off. But during lunchtime, you really want to hit the crew with a light meal that also makes them happy. Make sure you got lots of salad, or even if you got to bring in a truck, maybe they can have some tacos or some burritos, or you know what I mean? Some burritos can hit hard too, because some of them burritos be on point and they be pretty heavy. But you got to respect your cast and your crew, and you have to love the people that you're working with while you're working with them, because you don't want them to go on to another production and say, man, I would never work for that dude again. He'd be giving us crackers and cookies and peanut butter. You know what I mean? So you definitely want to take care of your people. And I feel like if you're going to create a production, make sure you have a budget set aside for craft service. It's very important to respect your cast and crew and feed them well. And most of the complaints you probably hear, if you ever heard a lot of complaints, have been about the food. So now that we got that covered, so I just wanted to drop that on y'all, let y'all know if you ever want to, create your own production and you want to, I don't care what, even if it's a, what do you call it? Everyone's doing nowadays a sketch, right? Say you want to do a sketch, you got your little people coming over, buy some food. If you're shooting at the house, cook it at the house, make them something at the crib, even if it's some hot dogs and fries or whatever it is, or some hamburgers or whatever it is. Feed your people well. You take care of them, they'll take care of you. All right. So once again, welcome to the Acting Chops Network, home of the industry insiders. This is the place where people can come tell their dreams. They can tell their stories. They can tell why they came to Hollywood, how come they came to Hollywood, what made you come to Hollywood. So